Hi Tarot Tube. Today is January 8th, 2018. I will be working with the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and I'll be doing another Dyadic Cross. I did really like that one. So let us begin. Seven of Pentacles, King of Wands, Six of Wands, Magician, Five of Wands, Page of Cups. We have here a very wands heavy draw. Whenever we see this many wands in a draw, it tends to tell us that, you know, there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of change. Wands generally mean like new growth, or like things like being set in motion. And so that's what the dominant element of today's draw is. It's that, you know, things are moving along, as we've actually been seeing like a lot of this kind of stuff. Like, you know, I think January coming into, you know, full force here, I think a lot of us are already seeing, you know, some major changes here, and you know, I think most of that is positive. Now let's begin with this. This is what we call the heart of the matter, and we've actually been seeing this one a lot too. So Seven of Pentacles has all to do with like, you know, the beginning of a harvest. So we've got this guy here who's contemplating, you know, his, you might call it wheat or something, but anyways, he's like been putting this work in all year to produce these plants, and now it's time to, you know, reap what you've sown. And so in your life, what this might mean is that, you know, you've put in a lot of work on your career, on your relationships, and now it's time to actually see some benefit from that. And so, you know, people are, you know, thinking of ways to make like career changes, and sometimes that's part of this. People are thinking of ways to, like, you know, cash out of certain ventures, all kinds of stuff. You know, it might be like selling a home or selling a car or something like that. But in any case, there's going to be some kind of a change here that you benefit from the work that you've put in over the years. Now, on top of that, we call this kind of like the foil. So this is the thing that's essentially like blocking you from achieving what you need to achieve, and that's King of Wands. In this case, I think we're going to be looking more at the literal meaning of King of Wands. And so look for an older man in your life, an authoritative man. It could be a father figure, it could be a boss, but in any case, this guy is very authoritative, but he's a very capable leader. He's often compared to Alexander the Great. He is the only of all the kings who is said to rule by divine right. All the other ones, they rule, you know, they have like achieved their ruling through some other means, but he's the only rightful king. And he can be quick to anger, but his anger comes from a place of, you know, not really having any kind of patience for like a lack of competence. He is a competent man, and he expects the best out of others. And so whenever you experience like his anger, you kind of get this sense that, you know, you deserved it, and you want to do better because of it. So anyways, look for somebody like that in your life, because they're providing some kind of a blocker to what you want to accomplish. And I think what you want to accomplish is this harvest. So there's somebody there who's sort of like causing problems, and you're going to need to overcome that. It might be, you know, that you've kind of not really been like following his advice, and his advice is good, or it might be that he's actually serving to block it in his own right. So pay attention to somebody like that. They're very important, and they're providing some kind of a negative energy at this time. Now we're going to get to the root here. The root, we see the Magician. Magician is pure and simple competence without direction. This is somebody who's capable of creating anything. We see all four elements there on his table. He's totally grounded with his hand pointing to the ground, and he reaches to the heavens to achieve, you know, his power. And The magician is purely, like I said, he's totally competent, he's capable of doing whatever he wants, but he doesn't really know what he wants to do. So we generally look to other cards for direction, but when we see the magician, we know that our training is in a good place. Like everything that we've learned and all of our skills that we've developed, they're in a really good place, and now that we have this training, it's time to go in and actually see some benefit from that. Now, this is the past, and the past here with Six of Wands. Six of Wands is all about sort of like a rising up. So you may have, built a life for yourself where you've kind of like climbed echelons. Perhaps you've, escaped a low-class lifestyle through education, hard work, all of that, and you've seen some minor victories along the way. The important thing to understand about this card is that these are the little victories that occur on the way to a greater victory, and the risk that you get with this card, this guy's kind of like parading around on this horse, is to think that that's the victory, that you've already made it. Maybe this is kind of like saying the old adage, don't count your chickens before they hatch. There's still a lot of work to be done, and you need to sit back and like enjoy these little victories along the way, but remember that that's not it. There's a much bigger thing coming, and you need to keep your eye on the overall journey, and you need to keep working hard. We've got some problems here. So this card tends to represent sort of like your aspirations, and Five of Wands is all about conflict. It can be conflict with a lot of other people. So sometimes we explain this as like, you're like fighting like a lot of different people. Everybody's got different motivations, and it's not really clear who's fighting who, and it's just a very confusing battle. I tend to look at it more of a internal battle. So in terms of your aspirations right now, you don't really know what you want to do. You have a lot of different ideas for projects, a lot of different directions your career could go, and you're considering your priorities, but everything is scattered. Your thoughts are moving a mile a minute, and you just don't really know what you want to do. And so when we see this card in this position, this tells us that it's time to sit back and like reconsider our priorities and just try to get some kind of focus out of it. Think about what is most important. It might be just completing that harvest and then using that newfound wealth as like a security blanket to like sort of like find yourself or like find out what you want to do. But the key is that you need that focus, because without that, you're just kind of scattered. You don't really know what's going on, and you're going to run into some difficulty. I often see this card follow Six of Wands, which is interesting because Six is later in the series. And the reason I think that is because like sometimes when we achieve these little victories, they can fool us into thinking that our priorities should lie one way, when in fact they should lie a different way. And so that's important to keep in mind. Like, the reason you may be so scattered is because you've received this like positive feedback somewhere, and that isn't totally where it should be. Now, the magician here again, we've got competence without direction. So throughout this, I'm seeing a lot of you don't really know what to do next, and I think that despite the fact that the King of Wands is playing the role of the foil here, that might be somebody you want to ping for advice. This person, while they can have this negative energy because they are quick to anger, they are really competent and they do really care about you. So it might be something where the foil is you've got a bad relationship with them, and what you should be doing is looking to them for advice. And they can help you figure out exactly what you want to do with your life. Again, look for like an authoritative older man for that. It doesn't necessarily need to be a man. I forget to mention this. In tarot, the literal genders aren't always like clear cut, and so it came from like a patriarchal society. So like men are more manly, whatever. Women are womanly. you want to find somebody who embodies these characteristics. It could very well be a woman, so don't assume it's a man. Page of Cups. So Page of Cups, pages often represent news. This position represents the future, and so you've got some news coming. You got a new opportunity that you might hear through somebody else, or you might hear through the person in question. And within the realm of cups, we're talking either one of two things. It's either going to be like romance, or like otherwise like friendships, or it might be art. And so you've got some kind of news coming. If you are an artist, this could mean like good news, like maybe you got like a new show. If you are a normal person, then the Page of Cups might mean that like a new relationship is coming, and you're going to see some like really good results from that. It could be that you're already in a relationship, but it's relatively fresh, and you're going to see some like good developments in that relationship, some really promising upgrades in status, and that bodes really well. And because we are so scattered at this moment, because we don't really know where we want to go, and because we do need to put in the work to harvest something out of all this work that we've been putting in, I think that this might be the thing that you use to sort of like cement your like internal balance by taking care of this relationship, by nurturing it, and by ensuring that the relationship itself has full room to grow. You may find all of these other things just sort of falling into place. And so if you are in a new relationship, or something comes in the near future, I definitely think that you should be focusing energy on it. That's going to be really important. It's going to be like a lasting connection that means a lot to your life. Alright, well, that was Tarot Tube for January 8th, and as always, please like and subscribe. We are, at the moment, very exciting, we're working on a Tarot Tube app, so I will keep you posted on that, but soon we will be in your pocket. So, as always, be well, everyone.